Hey bookwormies, welcome to this week's 7th episode of Sip, Read, Repeat. My name is Beans.
And I'm Victoria, and today we're going to talk about Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerri Maniscalco. But of course, as always, before we begin, we want to give a little bit of a disclaimer. On this podcast, we talk about plot, characters, and more, but more importantly, the spice. So that being said, viewer discretion is advised, and if you know us in real life,
no you don't.
Okay, before we get into it, like we kind of have been the past few weeks, the one thing I wanted to talk about is there's a lot of new books coming out this month in April. And when you guys are listening to this, it may not be April anymore, but for us, it's the first week of April. So some of the books that I'm looking forward to are Funny Story by Emily Henry. I love a fucking Emily Henry book. I don't think you've read any of them, but
Are those the books where the cute covers and they're like romance and one of them's like a scientist?
No, that's Allie Hazelwood. That's a different author. Emily Henry writes she did this one called People We Meet on Vacation, Beach Read, Book Lover. They're cute. They're like romance books, but they usually have like a theme and like kind of like a lesson to them, sort of. But they're good. You can borrow one of mine if you want. And then Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, which I think actually came out like very recently. Late Bloomer by, I feel like I'm going to mispronounce this, but Maisie Eddings. That's actually a lesbian romance.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that comes out April 16th. Wild Love by Elsie Silver. That's another one of my cowboy romances, and I'm pretty sure it's out already, so I think I'm going to read it. And then, of course, Powerful by Lauren Roberts on the 30th.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of forgot that was coming out soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like really, really soon.
Okay, so we're going to have to work that in to review that.
Yeah.
Cool. So I obviously have been reading Kingdom of the Wicked because it's the fucking episode that we're doing this on, but I like zoomed through the series. I'm like 70% into the last book and I fucking love it. I'm no longer in my little slump. It's been good, but not to like spoil the episode or anything, but that's basically what I've been doing these past 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I've read these 3 books. Mm-hmm. So it's been good. I do really want to read the Prairie of the Orange Tree. The fuck
Prairie of the Orange Tree.
Yeah, Prairie of the Orange.
Samantha Shannon.
Yeah, I really want to read that book, and I think that's about it for me. So,
okay, you want to get into the review?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, cool. So first, we'll do a little no spoiler summary, but then pretty much after that, there will be spoilers, at least for the first book. So just if you haven't read it yet, you should probably click off after that. But if you have read it, then enjoy it with us. So the book itself is Kingdom of the Wicked, like we said, by Kerri Maniscalco. It's the first book in the trilogy. It's young adult fantasy. I put light romance and then a little bit of mystery. But a little summary is 1 prophecy, 2 sisters, 7 princes of sin, and a handful of murdered witches lead you into the Kingdom of the Wicked, a novel about a sister trying to avenge her sister's death, and in the process revealing a world of magic, danger, and deceit. Exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I do want to say when I first read this book, it was like giving like Italian vibes, and they're in Sicily, and I loved it, and the cooking, so I ate it up.
Yeah, what'd you rate it?
Ooh. Why is my rating blank? And I sat down and I said, "Ooh, what am I gonna rate this?"
And I just didn't get back.
And I
just
didn't. But I'm pretty sure I gave it a 3.5. And
okay. I rated it higher than you.
What did you rate it?
3.8.
Wow. Okay, I felt very skeptical about my 3.5. I don't know. Fuck it. I'll probably change it by the end. I usually do.
Yeah.
What about spice? What did you do?
1. This book didn't have spice.
You're right.
They literally kissed once.
You're right.
Well,
no, it didn't have spice. You're right.
Yeah, they kissed once that we know of.
What do you mean that we know of?
Well, there was that like one part after she met Lust, and then she woke up and she was like, I can feel the faint remnants of his lips on my neck or whatever. And I was like, what?
Wait, are you talking about after she tries to fight the dragon worm thing?
Dragon worm? Oh, I was like,
I don't remember what it is. Is it a dragon? About? It's some crazy mythical creature.
Like the worm sort of thing? The viper? The Viperidae?
Oh, was it a snake?
No, I'm talking...
It's a snake.
Yeah, okay, yes. The Viperidae is a snake. But what I'm talking about is after she, stumbles into Lust's, beach party or whatever, and she, feels all the feelings or whatever, and then Wrath shows up. Oh, wait. You're right. What I am talking about is after
thing.
after she fights the viper a day or whatever, and then
like this whole thing happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get into that. But yes, like his ones, I gave it a spice of a 2.5. Okay. Just because. Just because it was very generous, and maybe I'll give it a 2. But I don't know. I feel like there was like a little tension there, and I really loved the playful banter. It probably is just a 2. I'm gonna take my 0.5 back and just give it a 2.
If you felt like it was a 2.5, leave it as that. Nobody's judging.
I don't know.
Having literally said generous.
I don't like rating things on a scale.
So how would you want to rate them?
I don't know. It just makes me nervous because I'm like, is it a 2? Is it a 3? Is it a 3.7? 3.6? Like I just can't.
What's the difference in the 0.1s?
Yeah, I need a scale.
Okay. The drink for this week is on our Instagram and our TikTok if you want to make it for yourself. But this one was actually featured in the book. Sometimes we make them ourselves. Sometimes we find them on like Pinterest or wherever on the internet. And then other times they actually come out of the book. And so this one did. It was about 8% through the book. Vittoria gathered blood oranges, lemons. How the fuck do you say that? Limoncello, red wine, and a bottle of Prosecco. I watched from the island as she methodically added everything to a pitcher. So that's exactly what we're going to drink this week. It's going to be Vittoria's Sparkling Blood Orange Sangria.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's very heavy on the alcohol. I mean, it has limoncello, red wine, and Prosecco.
Sangria. We love that. It's going to be my first sangria.
Hell yeah. Okay. Off the rip, what are your thoughts about the book?
Okay.
I mean, we already talked about ratings, but...
2 things. First thing I'm going to say is that this, like I said before, this book/series really kept me captivated. Like, I was thinking about the book, and during the day, I would go home and read. I read every single day. Even on my sister's bachelorette trip, I was reading every single day for at least longer than an hour. And that, I was on a bachelorette trip. That says something. My cousin was down for a week. I was reading every single day with my cousin being here. Like,
that says something.
That says something.
That book had you.
It had me, like, by the fucking, like, throat. Like, bitch was choking me out.
Like, you better fucking read.
Yeah.
Keep reading me.
I was reading at work. I was reading all the time. So that says something. And especially, I think especially for me, because I'm not going to read a book if I'm not fucking enjoying it. I mean, like, you're like that too. So I'm not going to, like, finish a book because I feel like I have to.
I think my overall takeaway coming out of this book is that I'm really confused.
Okay, that was my second point. Secondly, I was very confused. I'm even about to finish the series, and I have so much more I want clarity on, and it was getting very hard to follow, especially in book 2. But book 1 was still hard to follow.
Yeah. So Gena finished this book before me, obviously, because she's on book 3 right now. I just finished book 1 literally last night, less than 12 hours ago, or about 24 hours ago. I have kind of been in a book slump, I guess. So I felt like I was struggling to read this book, but not because the book was bad, but because I just had to like pick up the book, put down the book, pick up the book, put down the book. Let's just talk about plot. So like I said, this book was kind of confusing, but there was also just a lot in this book. Like even when I sat down to prep for this episode and was kind of like writing out beginning, middle, end plot thoughts, it was really hard to get down to just a few sentences. So this part may take a while to talk about the plot. So from the beginning, let's talk about it. In the beginning, we learn a lot about the DeCarlos. That's their names, right?
Sure.
Okay. And the town they live in, the magic they hold, and the odd rules that Nona, their grandmother, has placed on 2 twins, Amelia and Vittoria. For example, they're never to join the amulets that each twin wears around their neck, or else something bad will happen. Following a prologue that introduces all of this information, we jump to the present day where the twins are, I think, like young adults. They're like 18 to 20, something like that.
Yeah.
They both work at their family's restaurant, Sea and Vine. Their Nona has been very protective of them for all their life and lately has been more stressed because 2 young witches in nearby towns have been murdered. As the book continues, you learn that Victoria seems to be more and more busy with something that, as the reader, and really for her family, nobody's aware of like what she's been doing. She may be dabbling in like practicing dark magic, which is highly frowned upon. And then one day, Amelia feels the town monastery like calling to her, which it's not the first time that she's been there, so she goes. And while she's there, she sees a man standing over a dead body, surrounded by candles and herbs. And what frightens her even more is that not only is he standing above this dead person, but he's also licking their blood.
Like off of his hands, right?
Yeah, like off of his hands. Amelia, frightened, shouts at the man, which is odd because he could literally be a murderer, and then he runs off.
She literally goes, stop, get away from them.
Stop! From like the shadows.
Yeah.
This is where we realize that the dead woman is actually her twin sister and that her heart has been ripped out.
Bum, bum, bum. Is that the end of the beginning?
Yes. Well, the beginning of this part of the beginning. Yeah. That's kind of like the intro.
Okay. So I will say in the very beginning, in the beginning of the book, you're learning about the place they're at, the town, the family. And it was I loved it. I loved seeing their grandma, Nona, and all the Italian words and the cooking and the whole vibes. It was beautiful. Made me very reminiscent of my family.
Yeah, Gena's Italian.
Yes, if you didn't know. It was very pretty in my opinion. I loved it. I loved it, and that's probably one of the reasons why I got so enwrapped in the book. And they talk a lot about cooking, and that cooking just means a lot to me. So
yeah, there's a lot of mention of like different Italian dishes, Italian drinks. I feel like just Italian culture is really mentioned a lot. And I know Kerri Maniscalco kind of got some shit for that in some like Goodreads reviews that I read, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of nice and refreshing.
I love it because cooking for me is so much more than just like cooking and making food. It's literally an art. It's something people can do to make themselves feel better. And you see this throughout the whole series and in the first book about how she loves cooking and she uses it as an outlet, and it's an artistic thing. I love, love seeing people cook artistically. Anyways, so beginning, thumbs up for me.
Yeah. Another thing that I just noted outside of the whole like why did she scream at a man standing over a dead body like while they were licking their blood was she's so fucking real for liking the priest dude or whatever. Like I know he wasn't a priest. I don't know what he is.
The Brotherhood.
What is he? Yeah, he's in the Brotherhood, something like that. He's like a monk, not a monk, but like the male version of a nun.
They have real brotherhoods.
Yeah, but it's like a church one, right?
Yeah,
I don't know what that's called.
It's literally a thing. It's like in
but
real
they're
life,
like
it's called a brotherhood.
Have sex and like stuff like that, right?
No, they have sex.
He doesn't. That was like the whole point is that he had like
shit.
taken an oath of like purity, I thought.
That's true, you're right.
But there were a couple paragraphs in the book where she talked about how she used to have this huge crush on him. What was his name? Oh, Antonio. Right?
Yes.
Is it Antonio or Anthony?
It's Antonio.
Okay, Antonio. How she has a crush on him and how like she used to daydream about her like him like kissing her and all this kind of stuff. So real of her. Anyways,
Tori said that's my girl.
I texted Gena that and like she didn't give me the like full response that I want. I said you just haven't read a good like priest romance.
I haven't.
So then going past the very beginning, grieving the death of her sister and determined to find the murderer, Amelia begins trying everything that she can think of. Her last spot happens to be an old cubby underneath the floor of their shared bedroom where she finds a magically sealed diary and a few pages of spells that clearly do not belong to her sister, or at least like weren't written by her sister. Unable to open the diary, which she knows holds the last few days of her sister's life, she takes it to her best friend Claudia's aunt, Carolina, whatever, and asks for her help. Carolina says there was a summoning spell used on the diary. Out of options, Amelia decides she's going to summon a demon, which like, okay, to help her open the diary. In a cave alone, she summons Wrath, the Prince of Hell. Turns out Wrath is contained to a summoning circle and was actually the man standing over Victoria, her twin sister's, dead body. He's not the killer, though. He was just checking her blood for alignment with a specific court, which we found out later that he didn't find one. No trace of his brothers, no trace of a specific court, anything like that. Also note, he's shirtless when he arrives and refuses to wear clothes he buys for him unless they're like top-notch quality. As part of the spell, Wrath is now required to protect Amelia.
So I do want to say a couple things. When Wrath is standing over her sister's body and he flees, something falls and she finds it and it's Wrath's dagger. So she has his dagger through all of this.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Another thing I want to know. God, I wish we were doing it over the whole series.
Nope.
Another thing that I want to know. Fuck, what was I going to say? Hold on, it's something about... Oh, I'm very glad you mentioned why he was licking her blood, because I fucking forgot. I had no idea.
I forgot about it also.
And I was like, wait, why did he do that?
Yeah, it was really weird. I also kind of forgot that he was the person who was standing over her body. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it's because he is able to, I guess, like test with her blood, like if she has aligned herself with a specific court, like say for envy, greed, whoever. But in this case, he couldn't find any, and like no connection to anyone, no like scent trace or like really any ability to tell whether his brothers had been there or not. So he was pretty much like, I don't know who killed your sister, even though I was there. Like, I don't know.
When I was reading this, and Amelia gets very vengeful for her sister's death. I was like, same. Because I would literally do anything for my sister. Like, I would do anything. And like, I feel even if I was her, I would 100% be doing the things that she's doing. I'd be going crazy. I would go just as far and I would do anything. And I think it really shows her love for her sister. She does all this stuff because something going from being a girl who just like cooks and reads romance books, Amelia, to someone who's like willing to do anything to literally summon a demon. It's crazy. You also, some things I want to point out is when she summons Wrath is like, dude, like, you gotta tell me exactly what you did. Like, you don't understand. Like, you need to tell me exactly what you did. Like, something's happened. Like,
because she has to like say a specific addition to the summoning spell to,
for protection.
Yeah, for protection.
She was like, oh, I'm gonna protect it, so I'm gonna say this. But he's like, what did you do?
He's pissed.
Yeah, he's pissed.
When he gets summoned.
Wrath is livid. I mean, obviously he's Wrath.
He's like, what did you do? You don't understand the magnitude of what you just did. And like, at first we're a little confused, but we'll find out later, like, what happened.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I thought it was so funny that he arrived shirtless.
That is kind of like, what's he doing?
So specific. Which I think in the book, Kerri Maniscalco wrote something along the lines of like Amelia thinking about how
she does
summoning, like her summoning him. He was probably just like in the middle of doing something and then got like ripped out of hell and like disappeared. And that's why he was shirtless. But I just thought it was funny. So
it is funny. And I know when she first gets summoned, of course, she like she has immediate disgust, but immediate like almost attraction, and like she's so angry.
She's like disgusted because she's attracted, kind of thing.
And then she's disgusted by it. So, and also I don't know. I think you said that, but you said that now he has to protect Amelia, right? Because of the addition, because of the like protection, like because of the protection spell addition that she said. I think so. Okay, ready to talk about the middle of the book? Yeah. All right, this is a little longer. I think this is right. Dear God. Wrath explains that his brother, Pride, needs to marry a witch in order to break a spell and be able to get out of hell. Okay. The Horn of Hades, which turns out to be both of the sisters' amulets combined, can give a witch power over the devil. But she had to figure out it was the Horn of Hades, right? Yeah, like that didn't really happen at the very beginning of the middle. Like she learns that later. Wait, can we? But she had to figure out that it was a horn of the Hades. Yeah, she did not know. Like, she didn't know right off the rip that the two amulets that her and her twin sister had worn all their life. Didn't tell her either. It was did he know? Yes, it was gluttony. No, it was. She didn't mean gluttony. I think it was greed. It was greed. Who told her, right? I think greed told her. Because continue. Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, like I said, the Horn of Hades can give a witch power over the devil. Amelia is followed by Prince Envy, another of the princes of hell, which we met in Throne of the Fallen, and is asked to join his court. She declines and heads back to speak with her friend Claudia. Claudia confirms the curse, which is the whole, like, Pride needs to marry a witch thing. Then she heads back to speak with her friend... Oh, wait, I already said that. Amelia later finds a gambling chip that belonged to Victoria. What are you laughing for? Me trying to read this shit. Not only is the book confusing, but so is this fucking plot explanation. It's so much back and forth, and I'm like reading this, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, I liked the book, but holy shit! Writing this review, I feel like by the time we get to not the review, but like the plot part, by the time we get to the end of it, I feel like I lost my little like storytelling vibe almost, and like it's just like fact. Yeah. But okay. She's followed by Prince Envy, asked to join his court. She declines, goes to talk to her friend Claudia. Claudia says, yeah, girl, Pride does need to marry a witch in order to break a spell and get out of hell. I guess Amelia's like, all right, cool. She later finds a gambling chip that belonged to Victoria. Where did she find this chip? I don't remember. Where did this come from? The gambling chip she did not find that at the same time that she found the diary, right? Or did she look back in the thing? Oh my God, wait. Was it when her room got ransacked randomly when she came home? I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, we don't know where the fuck she found this gambling chip.
She found a chip.
A gambling chip that belonged to Victoria, which the chip itself, Greed's name, which he's another one of the princes of hell, obviously, his name was on it. So she's like, oh, I'm going to track down Greed. Jesus Christ, you're going to track down another prince of hell. Okay.
How is she? Okay, continue.
Okay. She tracks down Greed in a club and wants to ask him questions. Basically, she wants to interrogate him. Instead, he also asks her to align herself with his court and turn over the other half of the amulet, saying that Victoria already gave him her half. That wasn't true, though, right? I don't know.
I will say, from the bottom of my heart, I still don't know.
You said, I don't fucking know. Okay, then after a tip received from one of the princes of hell, can't remember which, Amelia...
What tip?
She realizes that she... What, if you let me finish? So she gets a tip from one of the princes of hell and realizes that she only has to use her blood to unlock the diary. Like, I think it's Greed, and he's like, you just have to sacrifice something. And she's like, oh, my blood.
It's like, no, it's like, yeah, it's like the smallest tidbit. And she's like, oh, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, she was like, oh, fuck yeah, my blood. Like, oh, yeah, okay.
I think they mentioned, no, I think what it was is she's talking to Envy. I don't know, Greed. She's talking to someone.
I think it was Greed.
I think they mentioned something about how blood is like a very powerful thing in like demon magic or some shit like that. Can they all do magic? Is everyone?
I think they can all do magic.
What's the point of a witch?
Girl.
She's a wicked witch of the east, bro. Sorry.
So she uses her blood and unlocks the diary, but I'm pretty sure she like doesn't find any really like helpful clues in the diary. Like she just kind of finds a couple like random notes.
Yeah, some stuff comes up. There's so much though.
Yeah, but it's like I don't really remember anything of substance that came from it.
I think a few things did, but like obviously they're not important.
Yeah. Then a demon shows up and like slits their grandmother's throat. Which like that's how I felt reading the book. Was like, wait, what?
Okay,
what happened to No? No.
No, so she has this like big thing with Greed, like this whole interrogation, and Greed gets pissed. It's after that, and then she goes home, and she's like, I feel like I'm being followed, and then just goes home.
I feel like I'm being followed. Goes home.
But like, of course they know where she is. Like, they're not gonna. Of course they know where she lives. Like. Okay, so I just want to know, what were all these motherfucking demons doing in this little town? Like,
the gates of hell were opening, Gina.
Okay, but what were they here? Why were they here?
They're looking for her. And the horn amulet shit.
And they're trying to get him a...
Hades horn. Horn of Hades, whatever.
This is stressing me out.
Okay. So a demon shows up. She's like pretty sure she's getting followed, whatever. A demon shows up, slits her grandmother's throat. She ends up being okay in the end, but in the attack, Amelia's amulet is stolen. This now means that both sides of the Horn of Hades are loose in a world slowly becoming demon infested, which is like not ideal whatsoever. So at some point after that, Amelia asks Wrath about the Viper a Day, which we talked about earlier, is the big snake thing.
She finds out about that because of Greed. Okay. Because in her interrogation with Greed, or someone, Greed or Envy.
Yeah, I don't remember which.
I think Greed's one sneaky little bitch.
So was Envy.
You're right, but...
And made me so sad.
Oh.
My man should have done better. Anyways, so she asks Wrath about the Viper a Day and is basically like trying to get information about it because she's pretty sure that one of the amulets is there. And it's true, one of them is. So a Viper a Day is basically just a really big like snake that guards things. In this case, like we said, it's an amulet. Feeling bold, Amelia goes in without a weapon too, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, and Envy literally said, not Envy, Wrath is literally like, if he's like, I have to protect you because of this thing.
Yeah.
But if you go there, you are on your fucking own. He's like, I'm not getting involved. Like, I'm not doing this
and you're gonna get killed. Like, just, like, there is no walking away from one of these things.
Exactly.
And she's like, oh, bet. I'm gonna go without a weapon, and I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah, no, she just, like, fucking storms out.
Literally goes straight there.
And during this time... Wrath, I think it was before this. I don't know, actually. During some point, Wrath's like, you need to live with me. And he lives in these like ruins because he wants to protect her or something. Yeah. And she just ends up
moving in with him.
Like kind of living with him. And then she doesn't really like...
That's after Nona gets her throat slit. She's like, oh, I'm like not keeping them safe.
You're right. That's why she finally does it.
She finally moves in with him.
Because I remember he just randomly one day went, and you need to go get your things because you're living with me. And she was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He like warded or something, this like abandoned house that somehow had this like,
his brothers
beautiful bedroom, like big sprawling in-ground bathtub, like all these things. And it's like, I thought it was abandoned.
I thought like when they said abandoned, I was thinking of a building with holes in it. Like I'm thinking of like the Last of Us abandoned building.
Yeah, like nothing that you would literally go live in.
Old ruins.
Yeah.
It's beautiful because it's Italy, but...
So she's living with Wrath, but then she's like, fuck you, I'm gonna go fight this viper by myself without a weapon. So she goes in and steals back the amulet, but of course in the process gets bit, and Wrath actually ends up coming to save the day, even though he said he wouldn't.
She held her ground for a minute though. She used like a spell and did all the stuff, and then she accidentally like tripped or something.
It's one of those like typical things where it's like you think the heroine's got it to like the very end, and then the viper day is like, gotcha, bitch. But you thought.
Yeah, for real.
So Wrath saves the day. That ends up being this.
It was this whole thing
about how she. What the fuck happened?
Okay, so I kind of understand what happened. So she gets bit, and it's like this poison, and she like
puts her in like a psychosis, kind of like she's like out of it.
She's like, I feel like it's like any venom starts getting in your bloodstream, you just start losing it, and she loses it. And there's this whole couple pages about how she's in and out of it, and she sees random things, like she can see like Wrath carrying her home. She gets home. No, he takes her somewhere because I think he's with other people because other people are there.
Yeah,
and he's like, leave us be, this, that, and the third. Like she ends up like being like naked somehow. She's like in a water,
maybe in a tub. She's like, maybe he was in there with me.
Yeah, and then she's like, he was like
he
naked.
Kissed my neck.
Yeah, he's in there naked with her, like skin on skin contact. He ends up kissing her neck. She feels something weird on her neck, and then
like it's like, and then she wakes up and she's fine. But it's like never talked about again. And like I put on here the tub. Why is it never talked about again that they had literally been in the tub naked together? And I have a quote. I glanced down at the water. I remembered the way that we had been sitting, his legs and arms and body flush against mine. I'd seen illustrations before. Only a few ancient rituals required bare skin contact. In essence, they were a rebirth of sorts. Like he'd transfer some of his power to me, using water as a conductor between our flesh. None of the rituals were to be taken lightly. But then it's never fucking mentioned again.
There are so many things, and
that you probably know now.
I definitely know now. So you don't know what that was?
No. They don't ever talk about it again in book one.
Thank God, because I won't bring it up then. But I will say so many things in this book. It's like they like mention, it's like something happens and then drops it. Like if I was her, I'd be fucking demanding answers. I'd be like, you need to tell me this, that, and the third. Why was I naked? Fuck you. What happened? Why was I naked?
Why were you apparently in the tub with me? Why were you kissing my neck?
Why are all your brothers here?
Go?
Yeah. What's going on?
How did I survive? Yeah.
She's fucking good. That shit's crazy and it bothers the fuck out of me. And you kind of, that's all I'm going to say. And it follows the whole fucking book and it drives me fucking insane. It drives me insane.
Yeah. Wow. So like Gena mentioned though, you do find out at some point in the middle, I don't really remember the like chronological order of it, but you do find out that the addition to the summoning spell.
Oh, I remember when it happens.
When does that happen?
When we find another, okay.
Oh,
Amelia
the
Wrath.
messenger. Okay, I have that. The messenger.
Oh, okay. Continue.
So another girl gets murdered. So Amelia and Wrath begin working. Okay, wait. The another girl gets murdered part, that is like future potential brides for Pride. Like apparently there's like this list of women who are like, maybe not list, but like these women who have agreed to do it. They've been like contacted or whatever. And they're like in the process of going to meet somebody and then they get murdered. The same way that Victoria did. So another one gets murdered. And so Amelia and Wrath begin to kind of like work together to try to figure out if there's maybe like a mole or a spy or something like along the way. And it turns out that that's right. And one of the messengers delivering Pride's potential brides' names is like opening the letters ahead of time and selling them out. And so this is where we meet the true messenger, the other dude that's like human, but he like now works for Wrath. And he accidentally lets it slip that the addition to the summoning spell that Amelia said when she originally summoned Wrath was actually like, that actually like bonded them in marriage.
It was a marriage bond. And I think he slips it on purpose. Like,
oh yeah, because Amelia's like, the what?
And he said, ooh, Wrath, you gotta handle that.
And Wrath's like, Yeah.
Give me a minute.
Which is, I mean, makes sense as to why he was so pissed, because then he was like, wait, what exactly did you say? And she thinks it's like a, you have to protect me forever kind of thing. But what it actually means is like a, you're bonded to me forever. Like in a, like, are they actually married kind of thing? Or are they just like engaged? Like what was the thing of that? What did that mean? You don't know yet, so. Oh God. Okay. So then she has, go ahead.
I'm sorry. There's still, like, you're explaining all this, and like, even though I should have most of the fucking answers because I'm almost done with the book, I'm still like,
you're still questioning a lot of it?
Why exactly did that? Because it's so many little things. Like, I know the overarching answers, but I'm like, wait, why did that? And that's all I think.
Yeah. God. Yeah. Okay.
It sounds like we hate this book. Holy shit.
I didn't hate it. Like I did enjoy reading it. I'm just very confused.
I think the book should have been longer. The book should have been longer.
Gina, had the book been longer, we'd be even more confused.
No, I think I should have took the time to explain everything. But that's what I'm saying. There's so much happening in like 400 pages.
I agree with you, but I think it should have been like one of two options. So either A, the book should have been shorter, where it didn't include all of this. Like I feel like this could almost be like, not necessarily 2 books, but like maybe like 1.5, or B, been longer and taken the time to explain the stuff. But it was neither.
But then it's going to be like a Crescent City situation where so much happens in one book.
Yeah, I mean, I already feel like so much stuff happened.
Yeah, but I feel like Crescent City not over explains, but like it takes the time to explain what's going on. But this one didn't. This didn't take the time to explain. So I almost wish this was simplified a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or maybe am I just stupid?
No, I do think the world building was a little like confusing, and I think even chaotic. Yeah, I don't know that it was like well explained. I do think we have a little bit more knowledge coming in from Throne of the Fallen and kind of understanding how the princes of Hell's powers work and stuff like that. But had we not, I think I'd be even more confused, which I think says a lot. Then, like as we said, the princes have these powers or whatever, and they manifest in different ways. So, like for example, wrath is like big, scary, yada, 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 yada. Envy can make you literally feel like envious. Like those feelings can like almost project into you, and then they kind of like feed off of it. So she has this weird brief like stint where she stumbles into a beach party with lust, where she basically gets like super high on life and then is like, ooh, I want to fuck Wrath, like, ooh, let me take his shirt off, like she's like really feeling it or whatever. And he shows up and he's like, you need to leave, like this is literally Lust's
like, what
party.
are you doing out
like,
here?
Yeah, why are you here? Stop trying to take my pants off, we need to go. I think there was even one point though where she was like, do you not want to touch me or something? And then he was like, if you still want to take my clothes off when we get home, we can talk about it then. And I was like,
that's like, ooh.
It's like, okay, Wrath. So she has this like weird stint with Lust or whatever, right? But then Lust, I think, asks her to align himself with his court too, and she's like, no.
I don't think Lust did Lust.
I think so. He asked her something, and she declined, and then he got pissy and was like, okay, bet, and like ripped all of this like happiness and pleasure away from her, and so then she basically is like left feeling really like low and like empty and all this kind of stuff.
Apparently it's a common thing with Lust's power.
Yeah, like he can like fill you up with all this kind of like endorphins and really great energy and vibes, and then just like snatch it away and you have nothing left and you just feel like a void almost. So
she's in a depressive state for 2 weeks, and Wrath just kind of takes care of her.
Yeah, he lets her like do her thing for like what, like a week or two? Is it? He lets it do it for the whole 2 weeks, and then he kind of like coaxes her out of it or whatever, and sets her up the bath and the candles.
He draws her a bath with all this like stuff, the elements she needs.
Was so sweet. Yeah, and then wasn't it like flowers? And at first she was like, I didn't understand what the flowers were for. Yeah, it was really cute.
Yeah, then she realizes he gave her all the things she needed as a witch to like replenish herself and soul and all this kind of stuff. And then I remember, maybe it was before or after that, he does all this stuff and she's almost ungrateful, or she doesn't say thank you or something, and then she realizes what he did. Or isn't that a thing?
I don't remember that. I do remember she got out of the bathtub and he was like ready to play cards with her.
Oh, they played cards too. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Continue. And then she realized like he was just trying to teach her strategy. I did put it as a note here for the just general middle that I was confused about is it the king of hell needs to marry a witch, or that Pride needs to marry a witch? Or is Pride the king of hell? Is the king of hell Papa? Like, father, like, daddy Prince of Hell? And I'm just, like, missing something. But then while I was prepping for this episode, I was, like, reading a couple different, like, reviews and, like, questions that people had asked on Goodreads and other people had answered. And apparently Pride is the king of hell.
Yes.
And that's why he needs the... You're like, yeah, girl, I know. I was so fucking confused. I was like, the devil and Pride need wives? Fuck, there's not enough witches for this. Like, they're getting murdered left and right.
They need two?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
and they want the same thing?
It does get confusing because you're like, they're like Pride, but like the king, but they're also all princes. I don't know why they call the king. They need to just be the most powerful prince.
I guess it's like, yeah, the most powerful prince is the king. But another thing that confused me is like, okay, if Pride needs a wife who's a witch to free himself from hell, then what is the whole thing with the Horn of Hades? Like giving the witch power over a demon? Like what is the point? Like, do the demons only want it so that a witch can't like banish them forever or something?
You learn in the first book. I'm sorry. I want to say something so bad.
Hold on.
All I have to say is everything you're reading and you think you're figuring out.
I'm wrong or I'm right. Don't answer that.
I'm not going to answer, but I'm just letting you know. Everything you're figuring out, blank.
Another thing that I really like enjoyed actually about this was at first enjoyed was us meeting Envy. I liked seeing a point of view of him that wasn't Camilla in Throne of the Fallen, where she was like meeting him and like he was like courting her or whatever. And so I put this quote in here that kind of described him, and I just kind of was like, oh, interesting. It says, instead of panicking, I cataloged details. He was almost as tall as Wrath and was arresting as opposed to classically handsome, but drew greater detail because of it. Drew greater attention because of it. He had well-trimmed facial hair that accentuated the hard angles of his face. I didn't picture Envy with facial hair, which is like, I don't know. Okay. He's got facial hair. Staring at him, I almost felt a twinge of envy. The demon managed to make a singular word sounding both... hold on, Staring at him, I almost felt a twinge of... And Envy ends up responding. Envy. The demon managed to make a singular word sound both threatening and inviting. And you are intriguing. I don't know. I just, I didn't end up loving Envy by the end of it. I was kind of a little like, what the fuck? Yeah,
you don't like any of them.
Yeah.
But yes.
I just thought meeting him was interesting.
No, definitely meeting him is interesting. I love seeing characters that like through different like other characters' point of views and stuff like that. Even like in ACOTAR and like the whole Crescent City crossover. I love different people.
I think before we started this podcast, I never paid attention to how characters were described. Like, I think I literally would gloss over it completely. And I would just like let my brain make up the character for me. And so sometimes I would read a series and then I'd get to the end and look up fan casts or like fan art. And then I'd be like, who the fuck is that?
That is not my man.
Yeah. Like,
that is not my Prince Envy.
Lucian from ACOTAR.
Yeah.
Not how I've completely glossed over the fact that he had a metal eye. I thought that man had both eyes. When I tell you I don't know, but not that. So
did you even think he'd be ginger at all?
I can't remember if I thought he would be blonde. But when I tell you, I literally just, I think my brain glosses over descriptions of characters and my brain just wants to make them up. So since we've started this podcast, I feel like I've been really trying to be intentional about reading how characters are described and like, okay, let me catalog this in my brain so that I don't accidentally think that somebody is a different, like, that they look different.
That's hilarious. All right, I'm reading the end. I didn't write this.
Good luck, sis, because I was writing it like in my brain, like how I would like say it.
That's fine. After her friend's cousin is one of the next girls murdered. Do we even talk about that?
Oh, so after the last girl was murdered,
they found the last girl on the road.
Yeah,
and that's when they saw the messenger, and then
no. The girl that they find in the road is Claudia's cousin.
Oh shit!
Which, well, I guess it does say after her friend's cousin is one of the next girls murdered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is who they find in the street, actually. Okay, let me stop correcting.
That's a terrible episode.
Yeah, it's okay. So that's Claudia's cousin that just got murdered, which is Amelia's best friend.
Yeah, Claudia starts going a little crazy. She's hearing like voices and she's losing her fucking mind. So Amelia, being the good friend she is, tries to go find her aunt who believes who believes put her up to the task instead. She's interrupted by Alexei, the vampire, right hand to Prince Envy. When I saw him, I was like, yeah, that's my man.
I love how as you're reading this, you're like not breathing. You're like, that was like one run-on sentence, no breath. Do you want to keep going?
I like reading your stuff. Yeah, because there's no fucking periods.
There are periods. I do write really long sentences. But I know where yeah, there's like 8 commas in one sentence, but I know where I'd stop.
You knew where you'd stop, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, read the next one.
Very excited to see Lexi. Okay, so but it's not good to see Alexi for Amelia.
I'm sorry, but you were so funny right now. I feel like you're crap. You're like, so she meets Alexi, but Alexi is not good for her. Alexi is really bad.
Lexi's bad.
Okay.
So Alexei takes her to where Envy is holding her family hostage and reveals he's the one behind the attack on Nona. No shit. And all of the murderers. She might have not actually believed that was him, but who knows? He ultimately wants the form of Hades and gives Amelia a 24-hour deadline to have both pieces of the amulet to him or kill her family. So we do it.
Yikes.
Okay, so at this point, Amelia does not have her... What are those things called?
Amulet?
Starts with a C.
Cornicello?
Cornicello?
Something like that. I'm not Italian.
I wanted to say, you know, this gives me vibes of
What?
the cornucopias.
Do you know when you like accidentally laugh too hard, but then you like can't catch your breath, so you keep laughing, and then it just, I feel like that's what Gena's stuck in. It's like she's stuck in just like a cycle of laughter. Not the cornucopia.
So I always read it as cornucopia.
What the fuck is a cornucopia?
Cornucopias are those things that hold the baskets for Thanksgiving. Like
oh. Could you imagine if they wore one of these around there?
Wait,
they wore one of these bitches.
With the fruit in it.
Pumpkin and all.
Okay, but so what is a
Okay, cornicello. Cornicello. Let's see if Google can tell us how it's pronounced.
I'm also thinking of that little like seashell thing that Ariel was wearing. And
like a... Oh, wait. They have pictures online of it. Okay, it looks like this. It kind of looks like a pepper.
Oh, I knew it. I fucking knew it. I motherfucking knew it. I knew it was going to be a goddamn motherfucking pepper.
It looks like a pepper,
yes,
yeah.
Because that's a very common thing for Italian. Like, they always have the fucking pepper. It brings good luck and shit.
A cornicello is a twisted horn-shaped charm often made of gold, silver, plastic, bone, terracotta, or red coral. It's thought to be modeled after an eland horn to represent fertility, virility, and strength. The shape and color of a red cornicilli are reminiscent of a chili pepper.
Yeah.
Thank you, Google.
Damn, okay, so even when I was reading it, I was like, what are these things? And I went, oh, I bet they're the Italian peppers bitches be wearing. My family never wore those.
Your family's different.
We're just...
You're not like other Italian families.
We're diluted.
So she only has one pepper. That's the point.
She's got one pepper.
She does not have both, but Envy wants her to have both, and within 24 hours, and she's like, oh, fuck. How am I supposed to get this other pepper?
At this point, is this when she goes to the Viper? Okay, let's just read.
No, girl. She's
been to the Viper.
That's
okay,
how
right,
she has
right.
the one.
Oh, because the other one was stolen.
She got hers back, basically.
So, no, technically she has her sister's.
Okay, she has Vittoria's.
And then she can't find hers because she doesn't know who has it.
Yes, that is true.
All right, perfect. So at some point around this time, Envy gets into Amelia's head by saying that Wrath is the only has one more soul left to dominate before he gets what he wants. Back at their... Why would he say... All right. Anyways, back at their shared protected house, Amelia confronts Wrath, and they make out against a wall, as one does when they confront people. And she realizes that while she hasn't been outright lying to her, he has been omitting the truth from her. We also found out at some point that the spell used to summon Wrath was actually a marriage bond, and they're technically betrothed. We talked about that. And also, we also learned that demons can't lie, but they can do everything but lie, so like they can basically fucking lie.
They can omit the truth. So like if you don't ask the right question, they don't necessarily have to provide you with an answer. But if you ask them like a very direct question, they have to give you the answer.
Yeah, like
truthfully.
Yeah, for sure. Amelia goes underneath the church after being called to it again, where she finds Victoria's...
No, it's her amulet. Sorry.
Oh, Victoria's pepper.
No, it's Amelia's pepper.
That's what I said. said Amelia's purple.
No, you said
Victoria again.
Yeah, you went. Oh, okay. She found Victoria's.
I'm gonna start calling you Victoria.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, reading this book was trippy. I was like, oh, okay.
She now has both. After getting both, Wrath fights off a bunch of demons Envy has put on him and
like
is
sent
gonna kill
after him.
These like little like ghost demons. Like I imagine them as little ghosties.
Yeah. Sorry. You said you picture them as little ghosties attacking a prince of sin.
Yeah, like blob ghosties.
Like
they're blobs.
Like
not Casper. Have you guys played Luigi's Mansion?
It's giving like.
Oh, not the ghost emoji.
That's what I'm picturing.
I'm picturing like this like weird blob that's like,
or like
you can kind of see him, but you can't. And they have like little arms.
You're talking about kind of like this, like the green, but not green.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
I mean,
like
I'm pretty
crazy.
sure it's demons, but go off.
It's like little ghost demons because they fly, I think.
Okay. Well,
do they not? Oh my god.
I don't remember.
Are they people? Because I just imagine them as like blob ghosts. Are they supposed to be people?
Not gonna lie, I picture demons, but when I picture demons like as like the ravaging, like killing type, I just picture almost like really malnourished wolves. But like that are really spiky, if that makes sense. Like their fur is very like you know when you put a cat in a bathtub and they come out and their fur is just like all stuck together and stuff. It gives me that vibe. I don't know what I don't think either of us are right.
Can you look
Kerri Maniscalco listening to this like
no. Can you look it up?
Are you sure you read character descriptions well?
Tori said, I pay attention to characters.
I try to be intentional. Also me, spiky werewolf.
Yeah.
Okay, so after she finally gets both, Wrath shows up is like, you gotta dip, girl. You gotta go. Take the horn and go.
Take the pepper.
Yeah, and then Envy like pops up behind him and is like, where's she gonna go? And then he sacks all his demons on him. Then
one thing I want to mention, Envy. Okay, so obviously like Amelia doesn't trust Wrath.
Yeah.
Period, as she should. But Wrath is like, take my hand, we're gonna like teleport out this bitch. And she's like, well, where are we going? Now
she wants to ask the fucking questions.
And be for real. And she's like, well, and then she waits too long and they can't just teleport out. Why? I don't know. I still think they could have, but then it was like too late or whatever.
And then Envy literally like, which I thought this was very descriptive. He like slices Envy from like hip to groin to hip, like across there, which I was like,
is that really? Okay.
Oh, okay. So his like intestines are falling out.
Oh yeah.
Do Princes of Hell have intestines?
Yes.
Okay.
Not hearts.
Not hearts. Do they not have hearts?
I don't think it's a spoiler. Wait, I don't think so.
Okay.
Right? I mean,
we can know that and not know anything else about that.
Yeah,
I didn't
know that. Maybe I honestly, look, I'm gonna be for real.
I mean, we know Envy doesn't have a heart because of Throne of the Fallen, but...
Wait, really?
We're gonna get into my conspiracy theory in a minute.
Wait, hold on. I don't even remember I know what happened in Throne of the Fallen. Wait, why doesn't Envy have a heart in Throne of the Fallen?
He might have a heart, but like, okay, all right, we're gonna get into this. Okay.
I'm gonna hate editing this.
Hold on. We need to put a pin in this. We need to come back in a second because we're literally 2 paragraphs away from finishing the book.
Wait, can I finish?
Yes.
Where are we at?
Amelia unites the horn.
Amelia unites the horn because she doesn't know what else to do because Wrath is like, and Envy's like, I'm gonna kill you. So Envy leaves her alone. Why? I don't know. Tori said,
I thought this was literally what he wanted. I thought he wanted the fucking horn. So you're telling me when she unites the amulets and makes the horn or whatever, he's like, all right, peace out, girl. Like, what?
So she goes to the market and she finds Domenico,
the father, not the son.
Senior, who realizes they're werewolves. Victoria was apparently helping him make a plan to shift after he had a bargain with Greed.
That whole portion feels like a fever dream. Why the fuck that had to happen in like the last 10 pages of the book, don't understand, but I guess it sets up for later.
Yeah. Turns out the Brotherhood is not what it seems. Antonio, lover, boy, priest, killed Victoria because she was a witch. She was a witch.
She was the wickedest of these,
bro. Wrath appears again, and Amelia says, so Amelia's like trying to summon Wrath. Because, like,
because she's marked. She's like, I can...
Wait, when do you figure out she...
So, after... Okay, wait, I think we skipped something. So, Prince Envy, back in the middle of the book, took... Jesus. Back when Prince Ebby took
Jesus
her family
Christ.
hostage,
Yeah.
Amelia shows up and is like, leave my family alone,
Oh,
yada
yeah.
yada. And then Nona, freshly slit throat, pops up and is like, bleh, and like sends Envy back to hell with like a spell. She like de-summons him. She sends him back to hell. Yeah, along with his like colleagues or whatever, and Alexi.
Yeah.
And then that's when she tells her like, you've been marked by a prince of sin. Which one was it? And Amelia was like, Wrath. And then and then she was like, oh, well, do you know that means that like no matter where you are, like if you summon him, I think he has to come or something like that.
Yeah. So that's when she figures out. So when Wrath gets like
basically deaded.
Yeah, gets gutted. Yeah. She goes back to the house and he's not there and she doesn't know she's dead, so she tries to summon him and he like never comes.
Yeah, and so she's
then
like,
randomly,
oh
so then randomly, I don't know when, where, why, or how, but Wrath randomly appears again, and
he's pissed and he's really cold and like
he's weird. Really pissed,
he's acting different.
Yeah, and Amelia's pissed. She's like, "Why you didn't fucking come when I called, bitch?" Like, she's offended.
You didn't come when I summoned.
No, God. So and then she says, "You know what? I'll marry Pride under one condition: witches have to stop being killed." And then she's whisked off to what we think is hell.
And the last line of the book is, I hope the kingdom of the wicked was ready for a vengeful queen, which I thought was a pretty cool last line.
Yeah.
So, all right, taking the pin out of my conspiracy theory, this is going to include spoilers for Throne of the Fallen. So if you haven't read that, maybe click off or speed forward like a couple minutes. Possibly
anything after this first book. So bye.
So I know that Victoria is not actually dead, or she's like resurrected some shit. She is alive in Throne of the Fallen. We see her interact with Envy, yada yada, and that definitely takes place after because Wrath and Amelia are like together ruling Wrath's kingdom.
Bro, when you said that to me, my mind was blown. Huh?
He said, huh?
I said, wait, and then I started thinking about the Throne of the Fallen book, and I remember what scene you're talking about, and I went,
yeah, okay.
Shit.
So then there's a scene in Throne of the Fallen where right before Envy and Camilla fuck on the throne in that iconic scene, Victoria shows up and she's like trying to, I can't remember if she's trying to like seduce him or something, but she talks about how she wants his heart. And so I was like, so reading this and talking about how all these girls had their hearts ripped out and stuff like that, I was like, interesting. And then another thing, while I was putting this together and like rereading a summary that another like creator had put together and stuff, when Amelia and Antonio she like brings pasta to him or whatever for the Brotherhood guys, they're chit-chatting, yada yada yada, and then somebody like walks into the thing. It's like the very beginning of the book. Victoria's still alive. Somebody walks in on them and is a hooded figure, and they're like, oh my god, yada yada, and then Antonio goes all like trying to banish them and like get them all this kind of stuff, and he's like freaking out, like all this kind of stuff. And then it turns out to be Victoria, the hooded figure. Yeah. Well, then towards the middle to the end of the book, wasn't the person who, like, they saw a person who, like, might have been involved in killing all the potential wives a hooded person? I mean, that could be, like, a really easily replicatable detail. But I was like, interesting. Also, Victoria just gives me really weird vibes. Like, I feel like she gives me, like, kind of evil vibes. And I almost got the vibe that, I mean, we know that she summoned the devil. Like, she summoned one of the devils or whatever. And she made a bargain with one of them. And then somehow died in it. We don't really know yet why. But I don't know. It gives me weird vibes. But I know she's not dead. So, I don't know. It's weird to me. You don't have to say anything. But I don't know. Just maybe in like 2 books, I'll be like, God, I was fucking crazy.
You are picking up on things that like I didn't even think about.
I just thought it was interesting. Like I was like,
definitely interesting.
I remember not liking Victoria in Throne of the Fallen, and being like, oh, like what the fuck was up with this bitch? And I remember reading like reviews afterwards, and I probably shouldn't have done that, but they were like, oh, I like seeing her like in the story or whatever, stuff like that. So I was like, But another thing I realized, while this is the end of that conspiracy theory, if you're listening and trying to avoid spoilers, but interestingly enough, also, Kingdom of the Wicked, Kingdom of the Curse, and Kingdom of the Feared were published back to back, 2020, 2021, 2022.
Damn.
And I feel like it shows. in the whole, like, the details of the world, the details of the characters weren't really, like, fully fleshed out, because 3 books, I mean, like, 1,000 pages of an entire series was published in 3 years. And that's,
I will say that it was during COVID, though.
Yeah, it was during COVID.
There's not much to do. But yeah, no, I get it. Like, I mean, Taylor Swift put out 2 albums during COVID.
Yeah, that is true. I just thought that was interesting. I thought there would have been more time between them.
That is very true.
And it's also, like, I don't know if that was, like, beginning, end of 2020 or beginning, end of 2022. So it could have been, like, end of 2020, beginning of 2022. And then it's, like, 3 books were published in a little over a year and a half. Mm-hmm. So, I mean... yeah, so that was the plot. I mean, we talked about a lot there.
As you can tell, I just have to say, like, there's a lot that goes on in this book. It is very confusing in a sense, but I don't know. Like, I did enjoy it. Like, I'm trying to explain the plot, but just so much happens, and I don't think we explained the plot well at all. But like, holy shit, it's like it was.
I feel like we got enough of the idea, but it definitely was a little jumbled. Like,
it was crazy.
But that's also how I felt while I was reading. Kind of like, wait, what? Like, oh wait. You're telling me that the marriage bond, you're telling me that the spell that she summoned in, like, the first 20 pages, we're now finding out at the very end of the book was actually a marriage bond. Like, a lot of bouncing back and forth.
It's a lot of, oh, someone told me this or this, and then forgetting about it, and then realizing that was wrong because you thought about everything else. It was, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess it is told in, I think it's called first person, where we're in Amelia's head. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it makes sense.
That's true. Maybe it's just, like, the perspective of writing. Maybe we like more of third,
like, outside viewership.
Outside viewership.
Yeah, I mean, because she's probably just literally, like, going through the motions of thinking. We're
going
like
through the motions with her. So, I mean, I guess this kind of all tracks of being inside of her head. Of course, everything's going to be crazy and jumbled.
Mm-hmm. I did have 2 quotes about Prince Wrath that I wanted to share. I think generally as a character, I feel like I don't really know that much about him. Yeah. I don't know about his court. I don't know about how, like, what he is as a leader. I do get very, like, protector-esque vibes from him. I don't really understand why he didn't tell her about the marriage bond. I mean, I guess he did say that it would have freaked her out earlier on, but, like, to wait all that time, like, she's living with you also. Like, she's living with you. She might be your wife. Like, don't you think she kind of needs to know that at some point? Like,
yeah, I see that, but also at the same time, I don't know when the fuck he would have told her.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
Yes, he definitely should have told her. Like, that. Yeah. That was very random.
When she first summons him, there's this quote that's like, I think they're walking through the market actually, or something like that. But it says, there was a quiet assurance about him, a confidence in himself in the space he occupied. And I just put hot. That is hot, yeah. And then another one that just made me laugh was he was talking about, I think this was after it was either after her Viper Day attack or after the thing with Lust. Mm-hmm. One of those times where he's taking care of her or something. He just happens to tell her, like, my world is broken down into one simple principle. I believe I'm powerful, therefore I am. If I'm convinced of my abilities, others will pick up on my confidence. And I was like, okay, Mr. Wrath with the affirmations. Like, if one of the princes of hell is doing his affirmations, you need to be too.
Oh God, yeah. Okay, so this was when they're playing cards because they're talking about,
like, strategy and, like, war.
What were my thoughts on Wrath? That's a really good question. I don't fucking know. I mean, yeah, I liked Wrath. He was cool. He
didn't, like, blow my mind or anything, though.
No.
I don't think he's gonna stand out.
I do really like Wrath, but one thing I will say is I just could not fucking stand nobody talking and I get it though, because they don't trust each other and all this kind of stuff, but, like, it's literally a fucking common theme. And then, like, you kind of understand why they're not talking, like, nobody's
talking. No
talking.
Communication?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, no one's, like, talking about everything that's going on. It's like everyone's doing their own little mini investigation, but no one's collabing and none of the information is getting shared, and it's, like, just crazy.
Yeah, that is really true. I did think that, I mean, like I said before, I expected more out of Envy. I guess in Throne of the Fallen, we see him as, like, and this won't be a spoiler, don't worry. But in Throne of the Fallen, we see him as kind of like a still cunning and, like, very smart person. But in this one, he was kind of just, like, downright evil.
I'm just gonna leave it there because I can't say anything.
Okay. And then the only other character that I put a note down for was Nona. How the fuck did she fight off a Prince of Sin after having her neck freshly slit?
Wait,
and isn't she also probably older? Like,
wait, are we sure that's when that's the order that happened?
Okay, it probably wasn't like freshly slit. Like, she probably wasn't like the thing had probably scabbed up. Like,
oh yeah,
it wasn't immediately after, but it wasn't far enough after to where she probably wouldn't still be. You're telling me that you're gonna heal. It probably takes months to heal from your throat being slit. I mean, I wouldn't know.
What's the time frame of this book? How long? How long does this shit happen?
Don't know.
It was a couple months, right?
I would imagine so. If she like was out of it for 2 weeks, and then like I think
it was
her sister dying and her deciding she was gonna like summon Wrath was like 3 weeks or something.
It might have been a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
What time frame is this book in? Is it like a historical fiction? Is it present day? I could not definitely tell.
I don't think it's present day because they didn't talk about like any like it was like candles.
Yeah, there was no technology.
There's no technology in it. Like, thank God, I hate technology in books.
Maybe I'm a dumb bitch, but I also didn't realize that no shit, it takes place in Italy, in Sicily or whatever, right? I didn't realize that it was set on like Earth though. Like, I mean, obviously that's not going to make any sense, but obviously it's set in Sicily, like Italy or whatever. But when they started talking to the messenger and they were talking about how they had like the true messenger and Wrath had like worked together in like South America and Africa and all these different places, I was like, oh, this is like a whole world thing.
Wait, that's a thing that happened?
Like, there's humans all over the world and witches all over the world and demons all over the world. And then I was like, where the fuck is Waverly Green then?
Waverly Green is in London?
Like in England or something?
It's in England or something, yeah.
Okay, so she's in England or whatever. And then that's Throne of the Fallen City. I just like, I think I said this earlier, where I'm just confused as to how the worlds are kind of set up.
So I can't say anything on that either.
Okay, that's fine. The only trope I wrote down was that it's enemies to reluctant partners. And I saw that in a Goodreads review, and I feel like it's definitely not enemies to lovers right now in first book. I mean, they just kissed, but it was for Amelia to get an answer out of him.
Is there any other tropes in this book?
Probably like
there's another
who
one.
did this to you? I mean,
not really.
He takes care of her. I don't really know. Sometimes I really wonder if I know what a trope is, but
okay, there's more tropes in the next book.
Okay,
there's definitely more tropes in the next book. Quotes.
Yeah.
So I just want to say my silly goofing ass self went to prep for this episode, and I pulled up my Goodreads account and saw a whopping 2 highlighted quotes from this book. And I was like, you're fucking shitting me, because there's no goddamn motherfucking way. But apparently there is. So I have no fucking quotes to share. Tori, share your quotes.
Okay, I have 30 that I'll share. So the first one is there were multiple moments in this book where I was like, she's so fucking real for that. Like,
okay, this one, I swear to God, I highlighted this.
One of them, I feel like you would have, because you mentioned it earlier. But
continue. I do have one to share.
Okay. There were a couple moments in this book where I was like, she's so fucking real for this. And one of them was when she was talking about how she wished the priest dude or whatever would just like kiss her and everything. Yeah. But then there was another one that said, she was talking about the comparisons between her and her sister. And she was like, I was satisfied with safe, clean fun. Give me a steamy romance novel with forbidden love and impossible odds. That was the kind of adventure I could get behind. And I was like, girl, me too.
Period.
You would love our podcast.
We R.I.P.
R.I.P. Amelia. You would have loved Sip, Read, Repeat. Sorry, we shared the brain cell for a minute. Okay, do yours.
I'm still trying to find it.
Oh, okay.
Wait, why am I on your account? God damn it. Did you log into your Goodreads account on our shared Google Drive, you motherfucker?
Yeah, I did.
God damn it.
Log me out.
I don't know my password. Wait.
Okay, Gena, go ahead and do yours.
Okay. Thank you, Tori, for pulling them up on my Kindle. I need help because I don't know how to work my Kindle.
You give me grandma vibes sometimes. Gena edits our podcast.
I FaceTime Tori. I said, Tori, how do I get back home? I said, how do I get back to home?
How do I get home on my Kindle?
I want to read a different book. I finished.
Okay, wait. Pause. Real life thing. I just bought a robot vacuum a couple weeks ago, and I named him Joey. Not the point. He like does this little thing around the house, cleans our floors really greatly, whatever. But then when he's done, he's got this little male voice or whatever, and he goes, "Going home," and then he drives himself to his little home, does a little spin, and then like backs up into his like port or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, you kind of gave me his vibes.
Why?
Because you were like something. How do I go home? And I was like, Joey, go home. He gets stuck on things, and I'm like, Joey.
Oh, yeah. I used to have one of those. I was kind of asked, though. Okay, so I wasn't distracted by the slight curve of his mouth or the flop of brown hair that fell across his brow whenever he glanced at me, then quickly looked away. Of all things, I was thinking about olive oil. Did you read? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. I have another one.
Okay.
I really like this one. Man had a funny way of blaming the devil for things he didn't like. It was strange that we were called evil when humans were the ones enjoying watching us burn. I liked it. I think she was kind of...
I know you liked it. You
fuck you.
highlighted it. But where was that in the book?
I think she was kind of talking about how like she couldn't tell the humans they were witches because they were like, oh, they're crazy. We have to burn them at the fucking stake.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hey, go ahead.
After the night I'd had with my best friends scrying from hell, thirsty vampires, and devious demon kidnappers, that's all I highlighted because all I put was, this is what I mean when I say, it could be worse. And then my last one just kind of like made me laugh, and I said also real as fuck for this, but this kind of gives me the same vibes. This made me think of like something that I would have thought in my head talking to my mom, which my mom doesn't really care about like the things, like she wouldn't care if I got a tattoo like this, but it says, I would sooner sell my soul. I kept my attention on the pesto, crushing the almonds just right. There was no way I was admitting to working with a blood-drinking demon to solve Vittoria's murder. And not only had I temporarily aligned myself with one of the Mavagi, but I had also spoken with 2 others. Oh, and by the way, an invisible mercenary demon was following me around, sputtering cryptic warnings, attacked Nona, and might assassinate me if ordered to. Then I'd almost died in a Viper Day attack, and the Prince of Hell saved me using ancient dark magic that required both of us to be naked in a tub. My mother's head would spin, but at least the tattoo wouldn't seem half as bad. Honestly, that's a pretty good plot summary.
That actually was spot on.
Good job, Kerri. You did really good right there. Oh, another good one, just like banter between them two, was Wrath said, does the side of my bare skin get under yours? Did you have sinful thoughts about me last night? That's usually my brother's specialty, but fear not, we've all got better talents.
Yeah, I like that one too. How do I get back to quotes?
There's a little, okay, click the very top, and there should be a little, like, it looks like a notebook. Click that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to share my last quote. Okay. 1 steaming pile of scampi, some arancini, a platter of antipasta stacked with prosciutto, pepperoncini, soppressata, provolone, marinated olives, and artichokes tossed with oil, vinegar, oregano, and basil, and a basket of grilled bread graced our little table.
Sounds fucking delicious.
And that hit. I said, ooh, that sounds so good. This book did
make me really hungry. And it also, low-key, made me want to, like, I wanted to highlight each of the dishes and then just, like, send you a list of them and be like, so when are you cooking? Like,
can you make this?
It's for my birthday in 8 months.
I would love to. What is that?
Casio Pepe, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I remember earlier, guys, when I asked if the devil was if he was like the dad, the princess of hell or whatever, I had texted Gena about that, and I was like, so I'm confused as to whether, like, is he their dad or something? Is he a separate character we just haven't met yet? And then I think I was like,
is he the papa?
Yeah, Poppy? Is he the papa? And then Gena was like, Mama eat papa, and I responded, Casio eat Pepe, because it gives me the same vibe. And I will not elaborate. So yeah, any other quotes, any other notes, anything you want to talk about before we pull a question?
No, bruh, because I'm done talking about this book.
All right, God bless. She said, until the next one.
Oh, I forgot what I wanted to talk about in the beginning when we were talking about all of our fun things.
What?
So recently, I've been putting music on to read, and if you have Apple Music, go in Apple Music, look up Dark Academia. Like, honestly, look up reading music, and one of them says, like, Dark Academia music to read, and it's, like, classical music, and I've literally been listening to that playlist nonstop. When I'm reading in the car, I play it at work on the front desk. Like,
period.
I love it. I'm like eating it up. I love reading it as I read. So that's what I wanted to share with my bookwormies, is fun things to put on while you read. Because I like music, because when I put my headphones on,
you wear headphones while you read? Like, you listen to things while you read?
Mm-hmm. Well, I listen just the classical stuff because it drowns out the sounds. Because sometimes when people, like Garrett will say something at the TV or the cats and things keep distracting me, it really gets me in the zone.
That's probably why you've been reading so fucking much lately.
Yeah, I love it. So anyways, read.
Which characters in the books are most likely to participate in a threesome?
Oh, that was a good one. All the princes.
Obviously Lust. I mean, overall.
Oh, fuck, wrong book. Okay.
I would say probably Lust. We don't really know that many characters in this book, though, which sucks. And most of them are related. So, well, they're not blood related.
The princess would definitely have a threesome.
Oh, I feel like if they didn't all hate each other, I feel like wrath, lust. Wasn't Amelia like low-key attracted to lust though?
Oh, of course.
Okay, so my answer is gonna be lust, Amelia, and wrath.
Okay, this one says, how was the pacing? Was it too slow or very jumpy? Very jumpy.
Yeah, girl. Very jumpy. Okay, what are you looking forward to next about the series? Kerri Maniscalco, anything?
I'm also excited for the new series to come out. And I honestly...
Oh, yeah.
The new one. And I just love this world. I love the Seven Princes of Hell.
Such an interesting concept.
Who doesn't love Seven Princes of Hell?
I just think the whole, like, Seven Deadly Sins as princes is an interesting
It is
idea.
a very interesting concept. And I love it. And I'm eating it up. But I will say, I'm hoping that the next thing that we read about...
It's about gluttony, right?
Yes. If it's going to be a romance. There's going to be, like... I'm assuming probably like a woman involved.
Yeah, I'm really close to my Goodreads goal for the year. I said last year I read 48 out of my 50 books gold. And then this year with like being back in school and stuff, I was like, oh, I'm only going to read 25, but I've already read 18. So
wow, good for you.
Yeah, so I feel like if I can get like just a couple more, then I'll pick up Kingdom of the Curse, which is next for me. And then like I'll finish the series.
I think for me personally reading, after I read this series, I'm going to start reading one time we went to a bookstore in Macon after a Taylor Swift trivia night and I bought like 3 books. Mm-hmm. One of them was the Taste Like Shakar book and I really want to read the other 2. I'm very excited about those. I have talked about them. So hopefully the next time we do it.
When you read that, like Meet Me at Local or something like that book, can you let me know? Because I want to read that one too.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely let you know. So hopefully by the time we talk about another book review, I'm going to talk about the book and then like
how these are going.
Anyways, so thank you guys, bookwormies, so much for listening to our 7th episode. This is probably an extra... I say extra chaotic every fucking episode.
I think our podcast is just chaotic.
Thanks for listening. Really appreciate it. Go follow, watch our drink reels because they're really fucking cool. Tori does an absolutely amazing job with her social media.
Thanks. Yeah, our Instagram is at Sip Read Repeat Podcast. Our TikTok is the same username. You can find the recipes there as well as I'm starting to share some of those meme reels and shit like that. And I think we're going to start posting audio clips, which is going to be fun. But before you go, make sure to follow us on whatever platform you're listening on. Give us a rating and hit the bell so that you get notified when new episodes get posted. But other than that, we'll see you in 2 weeks for our next episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye.